the mainstream media and the Democratic establishment hands Hillary the nomination and goes against Trump, does Trump win?
Probably. Again, you put them in a debate, and Trump is going to eat her up. Because, as we said, what has she really done? I mean, that was good. I mean, she's done some things that really screwed things up, but what is she,
Yeah, the only thing I hear is she sort of started a children's thing when she was a young lawyer, shortly after her Barry Goldwater stint or her Watergate stint that ended miserably.
Everybody wants to know, Hillary, what are you going to do to make the economy better?
So
when you look at it, who is going to be better at business? Hillary, who has spent, except for raising money for the foundation, no time whatsoever in business, or Donald Trump?
Well, she spent a lot of time in business, but the business of cronyism and deal making, because maybe she kind of set up a children's thing, I don't know, like 40 or 50 years ago, and then sort of resume build it as a senator, then made some wrong votes and networked a lot with Wall Street, and then kind of screwed up as Secretary of State, although you got to give her credit for killing bin Laden. And
in fact, she wanted to go on the raid herself, but they held her back.
Right, and also, well, she did have those bullets shot at her in Bosnia or wherever, and then and also just made a whole bunch of deals for the foundation as Secretary of State, and then just sort of hanged out and partied with all her rich friends and lined all the ducks up for the long con of winning president. I mean, what other accomplishments are there that I can think of? I mean, is there any?
The real question is, will cronyism create jobs in America? And the answer is no.
Well, it creates jobs for cronies. So Trump, when people start, weighing the stuff, even though a lot of people hate Trump, but Clinton just doesn't bring the mojo to go against the necessary mojo to go against somebody like Trump in a general election. So people got to think about that. But of course, who's thinking about that.
Well, I think there are people thinking about it. It's just not the mainstream media. However, I would still say, and you've seen a little bit of the tone of this from the FBI. They're not in this San Bernardino thing. They keep saying we are not a political organization. I think there's something underlying that could come back to bite Secretary Clinton. And that is, what are they really finding in all these email things, and why haven't they dropped it? And there are 1,000 classified documents they have now, over 1,000, that shouldn't have been on a personal server. What happened?
Well, it's already been decided that it's going to be Clinton, even though I'm still not convinced of it. And she would probably be able to beat anybody but Trump in a general election.
Maybe. I think perhaps Cruz or even Rubio could give her a run for
No. Rubio's not ready for prime time. And he might never be ready for prime time.
See, I think the difference with Rubio is this. She is so old compared to him that it's going to frighten millennials.
Yeah, but you know what? Old does not. Bernie Sanders isn't frightening millennials. They love Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders is older than Clinton is, and the other thing with Rubio is, like, a lot of people have already had their one-term senator, as president, which is going to make it hard for somebody like Cruz or Rubio, because we've already had our one-term, fresh-faced young guy come in there ready to shake things up, so I don't think that works in his.
Well, you could be right, and unless
I mean, it's about excitement, and it's the candidates that people are excited about. Like if it was Sanders and Trump, people would be pumped. People are pumped for Sanders, and they're pumped for Trump. But who's pumped for Clinton, really? And who's pumped for Rubio? I mean, look at where all these people's polling numbers are, even though, we say polling doesn't really matter that much, especially now, but nobody's excited. Nobody's like, go Rubio. Nobody's team Rubio. Nobody's like creating, Tumblr pages supporting Rubio. And, it's just, he's just another guy. Here's your script. And,
Well,
and like exclamation point is trying as hard as he can to be that guy. And he's just not that guy. I love how we need a wartime president. Yeah, what qualifies exclamation point to be a wartime president?
Remember, he dropped the exclamation point.
Yeah, or the joyful tortoise, or whoever. Jeb can fix it. He was 8 years governor and from a housing boom.
You don't remember? You don't remember Florida being attacked? Oh, wait a second. No, they weren't attacked. I got that wrong. So.
And then he was just a crony businessman collecting millions of dollars for doing nothing. So what qualifies him except his brother and his father started a couple illegal wars and screwed everything up. So shut the up, Bush! Exclamation point. So you can get excited to not like Bush. See, he's the opposite. People are excited not to like him. Go to his YouTube page. It's nothing but hate comments and thumbs down. It's fun to not like him because he's so not likable on so many levels. And so you get excited about him in the wrong way.
Don't you think in some ways if Hillary gets the nomination, that's going to happen with her?
Oh, it already has happened. People despise her. And that's the other thing about that is that people would vote against her. I mean, she's loved by Claire McCaskill types, that shrew of female senators and all the, her Debbie Wasserman, whatever her name is, the head of the Democratic National Committee, and, everyone at CNN, loves her, all these people are down with Hillary, but regular people, not so much. And most regular people do not like her at all. So the only reason she gets any love is because the mainstream media she's so in bed with all the people that provide the mainstream information. But who's who's pumped about Hillary, And it's the same thing with dropped exclamation point. Nobody's pumped about him. Nobody's pumped about Rubio, But people are pumped for Trump. They're pumped against Trump. He's got them both. They got people that hate him and people that love him. But he gets a response.
Well, he's a polarizing character.
Right.
Now, what I want to mention before we sign off, January 14th is the next Republican debate.
Right.
So that, I think, will be very interesting to see what happens because we know that Donald's going to say 4 or 5 more controversial things, and I'm sure we'll do another Political Pals before then. But that's the next one, and it's on Fox. So.
Right. Well, the Fox debates are basically Obama is a Arab Muslim communist who has screwed up the entire country, divided the nation, and completely lost all respect for the United States throughout the world. Pile on. Now you pile on. That's a Fox run debate. That's all you're going to get. But you're going to get a lot of hot mini skirts, great dye jobs, tight mini skirts, an analysis from well made up, hot newscasting babes. You're also going to get that from Fox.
Yeah, and a lot of people are down with that.
They're down with that. Pile on that Arab president with the Arab name. He's a communist.
No, he's simply incompetent.
He's incompetent. He's divided the nation. Pile on. Your turn to pile on. That's a Fox Republican.
We don't even want to go with what's going on in Chicago right now. So, Mayor Emanuel has his hands full up there. So, you may have heard about the demonstrations outside calling for resignation today. So, but anyway. All right, well, I think there it is. We've got the Donald in the lead, and let's see if he can, survive until the next debate.
Right. All right, I think I can split that up into a couple political pals. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or do you want to wait till you got more time and are more?
Today, the exclamation point being dropped was a big one. I wonder if they were listening to our political pals, and because we kept calling them exclamation Exclamation point.
Well, to talk about just to put a fork in exclamation point here. I mean, should exclamation point or now lack of exclamation point just drop out, or do you think they really believe that money and crazy, and Trump flaming out is going to do it for him?
I think he and his people have lost touch with reality, because if Trump left tomorrow, he wouldn't go up in the polls at all.
He's just a straight up crappy candidate.
Yeah. It's like, are Carly's numbers going to go up because Trump leaves? No, I don't think so.
I mean, his latest ploy was trying to paint that Trump and Clinton are in cahoots together.
Oh, he's going after everybody. I mean, he's got negative ads against Marco Rubio. He's got negative ads against Ted Cruz. If you're coming up on Jeb's radar, you're probably doing okay. You don't see any ads against Carly Fiorina or your favorite case.
Well,
or Lindsey Graham.
Or Lindsey Graham. Well, he exclamation point, and I'm still going to call him. In my heart, he still has that exclamation point.
He earned it.
He earned it. He's just carpet bombing everything. Now their plan C is carpet bomb. It's just carpet bomb. I mean, at first it was like, okay, well, I'm the conservative leader with conservative results, blah 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 blah. And then what? It was like, Jeb can fix it. What was his next plan? I mean, he keeps coming up with different ways to spin himself, and now they're just carpet bomb. Well, oh no, he was going up against Trump. He was like, all right, let's do and that didn't work because you shoot Trump and he just gets bigger, and he comes after you. So now their plan C is, let's just carpet bomb everybody else that we think might be a threat. We'll just carpet bomb them with our huge war chest. And you know what? They're running through that war chest, and that war chest ain't gonna get any bigger.
No.
Right?
No.
Because it's not like exclamation or joyful tortoise is getting. I mean, well, Peyton Manning, people like that are sending him cash, but it's not like he's getting money, or Bob Dole's endorsing him, but it's not like he's gonna get any money from regular people. It's not like Joe Sixpack.
I don't even know whether he can get anybody really to. I mean, like the thing he did down at the Citadel, they were just having a thing. They didn't put that whole thing together for him. He just said, I'm showing up. And
right. I mean, he's trying to walk this fine line of being a nice everyman and a guy who eats nails for breakfast, and Vito Corleone. And it's like, who are you, exclamation point? I'll tell you what you are. You're a freaking silver-spooned dude who was born on third base and thinks he hit a triple. That's all he is. I mean, what is his accomplishments? He was governor during a housing boom, and then has worked as a crony part-time. I mean, he didn't even have a faux stint in the National Guard to be wartime president. I mean, at least his brother had a faux stint in the National Guard and had some dental issues that kept him on the mainland. But what is that? And exclamation point was an average student in college, I mean, at least like Romney was an academic superstar, like Obama. But I mean, Jeb, legacy program to get into school, Skull and Bones, laughing it up, smoking a little weed, going to Mexico, coming back, getting set up, frying some people on the electric chair in Florida, loving that housing boom.
I hope you're not defending Ted Bundy here.
What's that?
When you said frying people on the electric chair, I hope you're not defending Ted Bundy, because he was one of the guys who got, one of the worst mass murderers in history.
Yeah, well, that's another conversation, because I'm anti-death penalty, but under all circumstances. But anyway, so exclamation point. It's like, qualification. We need a wartime president. We need this. I'm going to do this. I'm tough as nails, but immigration is an act of love. He's like, there's no like, who is this guy? He's just a guy that feels like he was born to, that his privilege allows him to be anointed president, and he's around all these powerful people.
He is no different than Hillary in that regard.
What's that? Yeah, and it's the same thing. Yeah, I mean, they're the
Different side of the aisle, the exact same circumstance.
Jeb is probably the one guy Hillary definitely could beat in a presidential election. She could definitely beat exclamation point.
Yeah.
Definitely. But some of these other candidates, I don't know. Probably, except for I don't think she could beat Trump. But yeah, she would beat exclamation point. And so I don't know. Maybe they're just him and his peeps are just so in denial, thinking, well, we got the money. We're gonna see this all the way through the end. Everyone else is gonna run out of money. They're gonna eat each other alive, and then people will wake up. They'll wake up and go, you know what? Exclamation point is our guy. He's got conservative credentials and is a proven leader. Leader of what? Tell me. Tell me.
Well, he basically has all of his cronies who are collecting a paycheck, telling him he should keep
Right.
the race so I can keep collecting a paycheck.
Exactly. And somebody's got to maintain that war chest and get paid to maintain it. Because yeah, when he was cutting back, he was like paying people outrageous amounts of money. It's like the whole Ben Carson thing where, Ben Carson is just making Newt Gingrich's company money, running his campaign, where the people running it, it's not the old lady that likes his Christian values that writes him a check for $100. Maybe 50 cents of it actually goes to promote Ben Carson, and the rest goes into the pocket of the people managing the pact that is paying for that. So yeah, I guess the people on exclamation points payroll don't want him to drop out, because then they're not on the payroll anymore. You're right. That's a good point. So they got to keep telling him, you can do it, Tortoise. You can do it. And there's got to be some sort of inferiority, like, well, my dad did it, my brother did it, I got to do it too. Why can't I be president? Can you just see him in like big giant diapers with a giant safety pin and with a big lollipop? Just.
Yeah, he's quite the man.
And yeah.
Well, we can be assured he'll be around by the next time we do the next Political Pals, because guess what? Those people need that paycheck.
And just imagine how horrible he's going to be in the next debate.
We don't need a bunch of yellies.
So bad.
We don't need a bunch of yellies being unemployed. There you go.
Yeah. He's gonna. Yeah, you're right. So he'll stay in it. He's got enough yes men saying, "Oh yeah, dude, no problem," as they collect their check. Yeah, why would his campaign manager want him to drop out? Because then his campaign manager, Gene Check, they at least want to keep getting paid through the whole cycle.
Yeah, and when they have the next candidate who says, "Why should I hire you? You were with Jeb," and they're just going to go, well, look at what I had to work with.
Because they're even coming out and saying crazy stuff like, yeah, and Jeb is right in there. He's tied for third place. He's in there. He's in a 3-way tie for third place right now, or fourth place. We think that's pretty good. He's right there. He's in striking position, And then they point out, well, yeah, Herman Cain was winning at this time, and then Herman Cain comes out and says, well, at least I was winning at one point, So yeah, you're right. Jeb ain't going nowhere, because his political cronies collecting a paycheck from his campaign, they don't want to lose that. And there's already enough in the war chest to keep them going. So why not? And yeah, he's just going to crawl away and be a horrible trivia question years from now.
Yeah.
But what does he care? He's got enough money. He can just, get on his boat and eat guacamole out of a $75 guacamole bowl, and he's even said, I have better things to do than run for. I have a lot of fun things I could be doing. So guess what, Tortoise?
Go do them.
Go do all that fun stuff you could be doing. He'll just be doing it, and then they'll probably try and live through his son that wants to be fancies himself a politician. The next generation of Bushes.
Well, can't wait for that.
So let's wrap up exclamation point with this, Stoney. If you had any advice, if you were on you're on exclamation points campaign, and they're going to spend the money, right? They're spending it anyway, and you're getting your paycheck, and you might as well get it anyway. you might as well keep the free ride going. Are you going to say, this couple 100,000 a year, this 30 grand a month I'm making, do I really want to give that up? Probably not. What would be your advice to the tortoise? What you're in the war room. You're in the war room with Tortoise and his people, and you're gearing up for this election. What do you tell them?
Jeb, you owe it to the country to stay in, because we cannot turn the country over to Donald Trump. That cannot happen. Or Marco Rubio. He's too inexperienced. You're the only one with the experience on all of these levels, and you not only deserve to be president, we demand that you run for president.
And you would be linking, and everyone would be winking. All those people are just winking at each other with their with their tongue in their cheek, just going, yeah, let's go to Applebee's and just drink as much beer as we want. Because we can, because we've got the Jeb. You've all got like the Jeb credit card, the campaign credit card. Don't worry, Jeb. We're not going expensive. We're just going to Applebee's. But you're drinking. The pitchers of beer are not stopping. It's just nonstop pitchers of beer at Applebee's, and you're just laughing. And it's Applebee's every night, right? No, Jeb. We're not going to fancy. We're just going to Applebee's. Premium beer. You're getting the premium beer from the tap. And that's what those guys are doing every night. They're renting cars, first class. Remember, he had to cut back on the first class, probably because all his cronies were first class flying everywhere on the Jeb campaign credit card.
Yep.
God, it'd be pretty good to work for the tortoise, right? Just having that big war chest to spend on pitchers of beer and travel and
the best part is he doesn't even know he looks ridiculous.
No, because nobody's telling him.
How did I do? That was great, Joe.
Nailed it, Jeb.
Nailed it, and it's another little brick in the wall.
Jeb, we're gonna give you this line about a work week in France. America's gonna love it. They're gonna love it, Jeb. Just you deliver that. People are gonna go crazy. So he's gonna have to have his line that he prepares. He's gonna have to wait to get in, like his people. Okay, we got to give Jeb his gotcha line. He's got to have his gotcha line.
There will be a moment, I predict, when he comes out with the 1,000 points of light. The 1,000 points of light. Channeling his father. 1,000. And then the Donald will say, "It's about the economy, stupid."
Well, I mean, exclamation point sucks because he's never been in any position to be anything but suck because he was born on third base. So he never had to get there. So he can just kind of suck and it's kind of cool. I mean, he didn't have to really earn anything or do anything, even though he claims to be a workaholic and eat nails for breakfast, and sit on his desk high above everybody so he can look down on them and when he was in Florida. But he's never really had to do much except just sort of cash in on his family name, and at least he didn't participate in any savings and loan scandals or other things that some of his other siblings did. But I mean, it's like, if Trump got $1 million from his dad, I mean, think of all the millions that Jebster got to kickstart his career. And so it's just not in him. It's not in him to be anything but suck. It's just he's just that guy. He's the guy surrounded by the cronies going, yeah, you can do it. You're our man. And at first they probably thought so. Before Trump came into everything, they probably looked back and go, Jeb will do whatever we say. He kind of sucks. He'll just take orders, and let's raise a bunch of money. Let's put him in there, because who else is there? Because really, the Republican field all pretty much sucks. So it's like, yeah, we got this.
What they didn't anticipate was this outsider.
No, Trump is effed everything up.
Because they can't go to him and say to his supporters, listen, we run this show. He doesn't have anybody supporting. except himself.
Yeah, and to Jeb's credit, and this is not credit in politics, but maybe to his credit as a human being, I don't think Jeb is diabolical.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, he's want to be diabolical. He probably really wants to be diabolical, and probably on some level feels like, because his father was clearly diabolical, and his grandfather extremely diabolical. But the diabolicalness sort of began to get fizzled out because it just got easier for every generation. It's like he didn't have to earn his diabolicalness, and so he's just like probably truly not that diabolical. He's faux diabolical. He wants to be diabolical. He looks at I can be diabolical, but he's not. Trump is diabolical. Ted Cruz exceptionally diabolical. Probably the most diabolical candidate. Clinton, very diabolical. Jeb, Rubio diabolical light. But because he's surrounded by diabolical, just like, he sort of knows the game, but...
well, he knows the script. He just doesn't...
Yeah, he knows the script.
He doesn't feel it. It's not like...
Right.
Cruz is scary diabolical.
Oh, Cruz is the most diabolical. The one thing, thank God, if Cruz looked like Mitt Romney... If Cruz looked presidential, because let's face it, Cruz not a handsome man.
No.
He's not a handsome man. If he was a handsome man, it would be over.
Yeah.
If he looked like a guy that women would want to get with, outwardly and secretly, there would be no stopping him. Which probably contributes to his diabolicalness, because he didn't really have that going for him.
That's where he got the training. That's where he's been working that. And so, it wasn't handed to him. He worked it.
He had to work it. Because, Rubio, let's face it, he looks like prime Ricky Ricardo. He just walks out with those Latin looks, which is probably why the powers that be, the evil powers that be want to use him, because he's a good package, But Cruz, imagine if Cruz looked like Rubio. If they could switch bodies and you could put Cruz's diabolical intelligence into Rubio, that would be unstoppable, But you can't do that, and Jeb is just lacking in all of the above, and that's the only thing he's not lacking in is his quote unquote political legacy family, which most Americans don't approve of the legacy anyway.
Well, but they don't really approve of any legacy politician now. I really think they've said, look, we've had it. Just get out of the way, get somebody in there who's just going to shake things up, and that is the Donald. That is not Jeb.